And I am also giving thanks to the divine Mayan Tzolk'in itself, and the Hunab-Ku, the one and only giver of movement and measure, the great central sun and black hole at the epicenter of the omniverse, the maker and modeler of all things physical and all things non-physical, the heart of earth, the heart of sky, heart of humanity, Hunab-Ku. I am here to do your work, and I thank you for your continued energetic blessings. Greetings! In Lakesh Alakin. I am another you. You are another me. We are one Godshiousness. And I am Crispy, a Gaian, Mayan, Pleiadian emissary of light. And today I'm very excited to do the Mayan Embodiment astrology for a Mr. Ra Uru, who you may know as the creator of human design. Now, because I'm doing this video, we also need to talk a little bit about Richard Rudd, the creator of the Gene Keys. So today I will show you how the two of them match up. It's quite interesting. But first, let's look at Mr. Ra Uruhu. He is called Balancing Starseed. Now, I should say I'm basically the only Mayan astrologist calling this glyph star seed for obvious reasons. And I'm also the only one in the whole world who shows that the tone 6 is best to be considered upside down, like a rolla bola. Now that will come into play with both gentlemen we discussed today, by the way. So, balancing starseed. One of the things I always do for my clients is create high vibration code phrases, which are a combination of one or two of the key code words from the glyph and one or two of the key code words of the tones. And here are 3 that I chose for the core self, Kin 188, balancing starseed of Mr. Ra Uruhu. Equilibrium way shower, which could also be way shower through equilibrium. Realistic rationality, and I'm not joking here. Both of these, the glyph and the tone, they have this rational, realistic energy to them both. So here we go, realistic rationality. And finally, synchronistic codes of life, which could also be revealing the codes of life through synchronicity, of course. We have to be quite playful with our high vibration key code phrases. Grammar can shift around, word order. It's the energy, it's the essence, it's the vibration that comes through. And this is where what I do is slightly different from both of these gentlemen, because when someone gives me their birthday, I can tell them the basic framework based on the basic matrix of time and space itself. But everybody's different. I get different intuition according to every person. So there's no one size fits all. Actually, yeah, there is. It's a ginormous sphere inside of which everything exists. But let's not go there. a person is born on tone 6, that means we go up 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that's the past wisdom guide. Then we've got 11, 12 for the divine feminine, 13 for the divine masculine, and tone 1 for the future vision guide. And when they're born on the 8th glyph, we go backwards 8 to the past wisdom guide, and 8 minus 8 is 0, which is actually the 20th glyph. So 20 out of 20 is this character right here, which I call Solar Chief. So tone 11 of the Solar Chief, which is called Resolving Solar Chief. Now this is the past wisdom guide, and to the Maya, this really has a major influence up to age 13. It could also be the energy someone brings through in a past life. It's teachings or learnings, and why I call it the past wisdom guide is because it's what we're supposed to learn from our past. Usually we find out about these things much later in life, and we can look back at them and learn from them. So here are 3 high vibration code phrases for this position for Mr. Ra Uru Hu. Authentic discernment. Mastery is challenging. Flowering amidst controlled chaos. Now, I think it's always interesting to find out who is born on these days. And by the way, I know of nobody else of my list of about 500 people who was born on balancing star seed. But for this position, Resolving Solar Chief, we have 2 very interesting people, Mr. Albert Einstein and Melinda Gates. Now, Albert is probably known as the most intelligent man in the world, one of them. And now that Melinda has gotten her divorce, and I would assume one of the largest settlements in the world, she just might be one of the smartest women in the world too. Who knows? Anyway, past wisdom guide. So, 11, 12. And when we start on the 8th, we go forward 6. And 8 plus 6 is 14. The 14th glyph is the Jaguar Shaman. So, tone 12 is like a crystal cube, but not a solid crystal cube. It's like 12, let's say, clear quartz crystal beams that are all joined perfectly. So it's an open crystal cube. That's how I see it. Being combined with the Jaguar Shaman, which is a very feminine glyph, possibly the second most feminine out of the 20 glyphs, possibly the first, equally the first most feminine glyph. So fascinating combination here in the divine feminine position. Here are 3 high vibration code phrases for this position. Inner standing meditation. Herbs and plant medicine cohesion. Psychic complex stability. And you could also expand that to complex stability through psychic abilities. Obviously, intuition extremely powerful here for Ra Uru Hu. Intuition, and the Jaguar Shaman is a healer. The shaman is a healer more than anything else. So complex stability, healing through complex stability. There's so many possible high vibration code phrases here, but it's important to know the shamanistic inner self of Ra Uru Hu. The quiet side, the inner side, was an understanding Jaguar Shaman. Now, as I mentioned, I always look into who is what. And for the understanding Jaguar shaman, we actually have 8 people born on that same day. So here's the incredibly long list of birthday exemplars of understanding Jaguar shaman. Buzz Aldrin, Lenny Bruce, Paul Selig, Emma Watson, Zechariah Sitchin, George Nuri, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Donna Summer. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now, moving across from the left hand to the divine masculine, the right hand man, as it were, we have tone 13, which is the highest tone, and it is the tone of completion, it is the tone of cosmic consciousness, the tone of ascension. So his outer face, his public personality, is combined with that energy and the second glyph. Being born on the 8th glyph, going back 6, you have the second glyph, which is breath. See what I did there? It's funny, this glyph has 2 common depictions, and this goes back over 1,300 years. There were shown to be the T in many places, and other places drew it like a cloud or a tongue, a breathing tongue sticking out cloud. It's quite fascinating. And so of course, I combined them. It's not a Rolling Stones t-shirt, okay? So get that image out of your mind. Doesn't go there. But Cosmic Consciousness Rolling Stones t-shirt, no. Cosmic Consciousness of communication. Breath is spiritual communication. So his outer self, Ra Uruhu's public face, was a spiritual cosmic communication essence. Here's 3 high vibration code phrases to help anchor that for you. Inspirational prophecy, communication of cosmic consciousness, and ascension hurricane. Wow, yes, the energy of the hurricane. By the way, that word, hurricane, is actually Mayan. To them, the word was Hunrakan, and it meant the god of wind, the god of storms, the god of air, the god of breath, as it were. So it's not a negative connotation whatsoever. And I do feel that the outer face, the public face of Ra Uruhu had this hurricane energy to it, which includes some lightning from time to time that he could cast. There's so many layers here and so much truth to this that I hope you consider adding it to your understanding of your human design. Why don't you add Mayan embodiment? There's no one system that can describe everything perfectly. I think we're at the age now where we are synthesizing many. You should probably know your Chinese astrology as well. And of course your traditional zodiac, which does align with human design, and even gene keys, of course. It's all one thing. It's all your birthday. It's all the day you were born, how it is perceived by various cultures. Okay? We know this. Now, our birthday exemplars for Ra Uruhu's divine masculine guide are Martina Navratilova, Bono, and Richard Feynman. What a fascinating trio. So there's some kind of vibration there between those three that somehow matches some of what Ra Uruhu was bringing through in his public face. Fascinating. Now, 11, 12, 13, 1. And starting from the 8th glyph, going 8 forward, is the 16th glyph, which is called Wise One. And tone 1 is initiating. So for his whole life, Ra Uruhu's future vision guide was calling him, especially from age 42 to 52. There's a 10-year cycle where everyone's future vision guide becomes more and more prominent in their life. And some Mayan astrologers even say that when you turn 52, actually 13 days before you turn 52, because 13 days before everyone turns 52 is their Mayan birthday. And by the way, for 50% of humanity, their 42nd birthday is their Mayan birthday. The other 50%, it's one day before. That's because of the leap year thing. If you're born in a 2-year segment where the leap year lines up, your birthday, 42nd birthday, and your Mayan perfectly line up. If you're born in the next 2 years, it's one day before. But that averages out another 10 years later, and everyone has their Mayan birthday 13 days before they turn 52. And at that time, a lot of Mayan astrologers, and I'm talking the Maya in Guatemala, in the Yucatan, they tell you that you become your future vision guide. I don't actually tell you that. I tell you you are always what your birthday was. That never goes away. However, definitely the future vision guide becomes much more prominent after the age of 52. So for him, tone 1, initiating, and the glyph of Wise One, initiating Wise One, became much more powerful in his life after age 52. So before we get into the obvious extra date or two that we need to talk about, let's discuss the high vibration code phrases of initiating Wise One. Leading shepherd, intentional spiritual guardian, which could also be a spiritual guardian setting intentions. And then an advisor of unity within diversity. And I'm not joking here. I'm not making this up. It's all here if you know how to read the charts. Now, our birthday exemplars for initiating Wise One are Michael Douglas, Jimmy Page, Harry Houdini, and Caroline Corey. So, let's talk about the 42 thing, shall we? So, Ra Uruhu was living on his own in a glorified hut, as it were, in one room of a ruined house. And one day, January 3rd, 1987, he had this otherworldly contact which spoke to him. He saw a glowing light, a bluish-white light that moved around the room, and a voice was coming to him and instructing him to do certain things, burn some herbs, assemble special things onto a table, and then began the transmission that became human design. Now, aren't you curious about what that day was? That day was called Manifesting Wise One. There it is. That's right. His future vision guiding tone came through with the two hands, Manifesting Wise One. You could also call it manifesting wisdom. Now, this happened in 1987, and Ra was born in 1948. So that's 39 years. And according to his own information, interviews, etc., it took him about 3 years to assemble what became the human design. And so 39 plus 3 is 42, and I don't know, draw your own conclusions. Obviously, there is something to the connections drawn by the Divine Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Now, the Maya always say that a person's life can only be defined by including the day of their death. That's the framework, that's the bookends on the bookshelf of a person's life. Book of letters, perhaps? So, what day did Ra Uruhu die on the Divine Mayan Tzolk'in? That was tone 4 of the dog. Stabilizing dog, stabilizing love, stabilizing loyalty. Tone 4 is the 4 directions. It's the 4 pillars that hold up the sky. It's the first number of the 13 of completion, because really those 4 directions go out infinitely to the ends of the universe. And along with love and loyalty, the dog includes rules and laws and obedience, and there's some type of ranking. Top dog is always a part of the dog energy, either them themselves or they need one in their life. So on the day that Ra passed out of this body, it was a very high energy of stabilizing love and loyalty and laws and top dog ranking. Amazing. Now, let's talk about Richard Rudd. If you haven't seen my video, please do. But he was born on tone 11, which, again, I am the only one who depicts that tone 11 is best to be thought of as a double-stacked rollabola. And interestingly, Richard is the 18th glyph, and Ra is the 8th glyph, directly across the circular Tzolk'in. So they were looking at each other their whole lives in a way. Now, because they are the 8th and 18th glyph, they share no glyphs on their empowerment circles. So what we do have to connect them is this tone 6 and tone 11. Now, everyone who's born on tone 6, like Ra, has 11 as their past wisdom guide. Everyone who's born on tone 11, like Richard, have tone 6 as their future vision guide. Now, the other major point of connection is what I call the STEP family, and that stands for spiritual, thinking, emotional, physical, the 4 elements. Because they are 8 and 18, they are also in each other's STEP family chart. So Ra, being a star, is yellow and fire element, which is the thinking body. So very mentally oriented, primarily, more than the physical body, more than the emotional body, even more than the spiritual body. He was a thinking body processor. But his spiritual body is directly across the wheel, which is Richard Rudd, the mirror, the knife. And so Richard, more spiritually oriented, being a white glyph, but his fiery mind is exactly the starseed. Starseed and obsidian mirror knife directly across from the wheel from each other their whole lives. Now it's important to keep in mind that everyone born standing on the glyph of obsidian mirror knife are excellent at cutting. They are precise. They are like a scalpel to make incisions. And of course it's mirroring both other people and looking deep within oneself. And all people born with tone 11 as their core self, double-stacked Rolla-Bola tone, are superb at using discernment and making resolutions and accomplishing tasks with great resolve. And may I remind you that both men have both tone 11 and the mirror knife in their charts. So in a way, this was all pre-planned and inevitable. Fascinating. All right. I hope you enjoyed this little look, and I am very open to inquiries. In Lakesh Alakim, Namaste.